Before we get into today's preview of the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery, reminder, we will be live tonight with our live coverage of the lottery, myself and Chase Sr. Show will start about 30 minutes before the live coverage of the lottery does begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be reacting live as the Sixers hopefully jump up to number one overall. But regardless, no matter what happens, we will have coverage for you. So be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you are notified when we go live. All right, let's do it. Previewing the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery just ahead of the big night. As again, the lottery does take place starting at 7 p.m. Eastern here tonight on Monday, May 12th. So if you don't know how the NBA lottery works, that's what I'm here for, baby. The 14 teams that did not make the playoffs make up the 14 NBA Draft Lottery teams. Now, the lottery, every pick isn't determined by the lottery system. Only the top 4 picks are determined by the random drawing that we'll get into here in a second. After those top 4, and every team has a chance in the lottery of getting a top 4 pick, the rest of the picks, 5 through 14, are determined by inverse standing. So whoever has the worst record gets 5, and then it goes until the team with the best record left gets number 14. And the way the lottery system actually works is with ping pong balls. So 14 ping pong balls are placed in a lottery machine, numbered 1 through 14. The machine spits out 4 of them. There are just about 1,000 possible combinations. Each combination is assigned to a different team in the lottery based off their odds. They get a certain amount, and we'll get to those odds here in just a moment. The team that has the first 4-number combination, they pick first. The process is repeated 3 more times to determine who picks second, third, and fourth. So then, obviously, the worst teams have better odds, have more combinations, and a greater chance that they do get a pick in that top 4. Now, you take a look at the 14 lottery teams and their odds to receive that number 1 overall pick. Sixers had the 5th best odds at 10.5% chance to jump up to number 1, just behind those 3 teams with the top 3 odds, Jazz, Wizards, Hornets, all at 14, and the Pelicans at 12.5. And then you can see the remainder of the teams behind the Sixers all have shots, although they're long shots, do have chances at getting number 1. And then the odds should be in the top 4. This is obviously where that lottery system comes into play. Jazz, Wizards, Hornets, just about 50%. Then you see Pelicans at 48, Sixers at 42. So a 10% chance to land Cooper Flagg, but still a 42% chance to be in that top 4. Now, because the way the lottery works, where they only do the top 4 picks in the lottery, it's possible for 4 teams to jump ahead of the Sixers in the lottery if they also do not move up. So they can pick anywhere from 1 all the way down to 9. But of course, as we'll get to in a second, if it goes past 6, they don't get to keep their pick. So you see sort of the draft odds of every individual selection the Sixers could land. Funny enough, the highest individual chance they get for a pick is number 7 at 26.7%. That would be a disaster, of course. So for the Sixers, you're looking for them to at least stay at number 5 or number 6 or jump up into the top 4. So you really don't want teams behind Philly jumping ahead of them, because if they don't jump up and multiple teams jump in front of them, that means their pick is going to be going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which we do not want. We obviously want one of those ideally top 3, number 1 overall pick. Now, every team does get a representative at the lottery who'll be up there on the podium, kind of in front of the crowd on TV and in person at the lottery. That'll be Jared McCain for the Philadelphia 76ers. Of course, was their first-round pick last season. And, good choice naturally to represent them. Of course, he's dealing with the injury, and I think it makes sense to get a guy like him with a personality. People know him outside of basketball as well. But also, the Duke connection. Of course, Cooper Flagg never played with Jared McCain at Duke, but both Duke guys, maybe the Sixers are trying to get some good vibes in there by sending that Duke connection over, but we will see Jared McCain representing the Sixers tonight at the lottery. Now, we've got some interesting lottery history numbers to go over that can kind of give you a better idea of where the Sixers could be landing come draft night eventually. But first, quickly want to get you guys in on this great deal over with our friends at Fanatics on Sixers jerseys, which are on sale now. Current players former players, all different types of styles like the throwbacks. You can get jerseys anywhere from 25 to 50 plus % off if you go to chatsports.com/76jerseys. I'll have that link down in the comments and the description so you can just click on it. It'll take you right over to Fanatics, and you can browse through all the different players and styles and sizes, see what jerseys you like the best, if there's a player you've been meaning to get, and see what kind of sale there is running on it right now, but it's not going to last forever. So, again, chatsports.com/76jerseys. Go get your jerseys today. So we take a look at the NBA Draft Lottery history here to get a better idea of teams that have landed the first overall pick since the NBA changed the way the lottery works. Back in 2019, they changed it from the worst team having the best odds to the 3 worst teams all having the same odds. And since then, the team with the number 1 odds technically, or with the worst record, has never actually landed the first overall pick. Now, 4 of the 6 years, you can see the Timberwolves, Pistons, Magic, and Spurs all were in the top 3, who all the same odds, so they landed that first pick. But in 2019, we saw the Pelicans just 6% jump all the way up to number 1, and then just last year, the Hawks at just 3% jump all the way up to number 1. So I don't want to hear that there's no chance the Sixers can jump up. They have a 10% chance. That's a pretty good chance, and it's very realistic that it does happen. Now, you take a look, also, since the lottery odds have changed, at teams who have had the 5th best odds. Obviously, that's where the Sixers sit as of right now. And also, interestingly enough, the team with the 5th best odds has never actually landed the number 5 pick. Last year, the Spurs jumped up 1 spot to 4. Blazers jumped up 2 spots to 3. Pacers fell 1 spot to 6. Cavs jumped up 2 spots to 3. And then what we don't want to happen is in 2019 and 2020, where we saw the Pistons and Hawks fall to 7 and 8. Of course, if that happens to the Sixers, that pick will be going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And ever since the lottery odds have been changed, we have seen lots of teams jumping from later in the lottery up into the top 4. Of course, I mentioned the Hawks last year, but also last year, the Nets jumped up from 9 to 3. You see some teams jumping from 7 up into those top 4s. Even the Lakers in 2019 from 11 to 4. So it does happen quite often where teams in that 7 to 10 range do end up jumping into the top 4. And if you're the Sixers, you do not want those teams behind you jumping up unless you, of course, also jump up as well. But the Sixers, I know we talk a lot about the NBA hates the Sixers, and especially since the process days, they don't want them to get this number 1 overall pick or even keep their pick at all. But the Sixers have actually had the best lottery luck in NBA history. The Sixers draft position has improved 8 times in their 18 lottery appearances since 1986. And in that time, they've gained 24 draft slots. No team has gained more than 20. So they actually have had the best lottery luck of any team in NBA history. And hopefully that can continue tonight. All I want is them to at least keep the pick. But if they can get to number 1 and they get Cooper Flagg, me and Chase are going to be having a party on the channel here tonight. Now, assuming they do keep the pick, here's just a look at sort of the consensus top 10 players Sixers could be looking at if they are picking in that top 6. Of course, we talked a lot about Cooper Flagg. He's number 1, no doubt. Dylan Harper, I think, is number 2, no doubt. Then you kind of drop a tier. Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe at 3 and 4. Jeremiah Fears is rising a lot in the draft process at number 5 at Oklahoma. Trey Johnson, Kaman Malawach, Konkanupal, Derek Queen, and Kasparis Yakachonis round out that top 10. We'll obviously dive deeper in a lot of these guys based upon where the Sixers pick later on tonight. Now, haven't really talked about this a lot because I don't like to, bring the bad energy out there onto this channel, but it is a realistic possibility the Sixers lose the pick, so we have to talk about what happens if they do. Now, if they do end up losing the pick tonight, I will have a video coming out kind of going through what they can do the rest of the offseason and how their plans change without having a first-round pick in this year's draft. But just, on the surface, if they do lose a pick, it will be a disaster, but it does impact their first-round pick next year. If Oklahoma City gets their pick tonight, that means the Sixers get their pick fully in their control next year. Because if the Sixers keep their pick tonight, then Oklahoma City still has a chance to get the Sixers pick next year. It'd be top 4 protected next season. Ideally, the Sixers aren't as bad as they were this season going into next year, but it does impact things in that regard. So if they do lose their pick tonight, at the very least, they have full control of their pick next season. All right, I've asked you guys this question a few times, especially over the past couple weeks, but now is your last chance to get your predictions in the comments right now. What pick Will the Sixers land tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if you want to predict that they lose a pick, you can do that. But I'm not going to be very happy with you if you predict that and then it comes true. You're going to be the one who jinxed it. I'm just saying. All right, again, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. We'll be live here in really just a few hours now at this point, 6:30 p.m. Easterns, 5:30 p.m. Central. So in about 5 hours on the channel, be sure to join us again. I want as many people as possible in there with us so we can all react together. As I'm calling it right now, the Sixers franchise changes as they land the #1 pick, and they'll be able to draft Cooper Flagg.